Hey everybody, this is Jaegerbomb, and now I'm bringing you a Starhawk gameplay. I believe the game's TDM. Yeah, right there it just says it. So in this gameplay, I go pretty good. I think I go like 18-4, but I'm not actually going to talk about that. So I'm going to talk to you about my weekend. Dude, it was crazy. As you may be well aware, that I went to the Pennsylvania State Bowling Championships in Butler this weekend, and oh my word, did we do some crazy stuff. So Butler's like 6 hours, like 5.5 hours from my house, so we all got a hotel up there, and it was fun. So let's just talk about some of these things, some of the crazy antics that Jaeger and his friends do while they're supposed to be competing in a state championship tournament. Yeah. So let's kick it off. So Friday, I think I uploaded all these videos, and I tried getting them there, but Butler, in some spaces, in order for me to make them live, I pre-uploaded them, and to make them live, I needed to update them from my phone, but a lot of times I wasn't even in reception or something. I don't know. I couldn't get all the videos uploaded that I wanted, or live in public for you guys, but I got most of them, so I think that's pretty good considering the weekend that I had. So what did we do? So Friday morning, we left my hometown, or my town, around, I think, 5 o'clock in the morning, because we had a tee time to go golfing Friday afternoon, around like 1:30. So we got there around noon to 11, checked in and everything, all well and good, and then we went golfing. So backdrop to this story. Thursday night I had a softball game, and while I was rounding second base, my shoelace got caught. My cleats got caught in the second baseman's shoelace. And what that made me do is, it looked like I got shot by a sniper rifle. Like, I dropped instantly. And when I dropped, I landed like hard on my head. It felt like I had a concussion, because when I got up, I was all dizzy and everything, and my body is absolutely just aching right now. And I think I may have broken my left thumb. I'm not quite sure on this, but it's like all black and blue right now, and it's disgusting looking. But that's the backdrop to the story. Why am I telling you that? Because Friday we went golfing, and I could barely hold my freaking club with my left hand. But we have this guy in our bowling league. He's on our bowling team that just talks shit constantly. Like, says he's like the best golfer in the world. You know, he brags about all of these awesome scores that he goes out. And I decided that I'm going to try beating him. But I just wanted to shut him up. I was tired of listening to him constantly. So, golfing, long story short, I did horrible the first round. I shot I think like a 47 or something like that. I wasn't doing well. I could barely hold my club, but my thought was the longer I play, my thumb would get more numb and numb to the pain, and then eventually my old skill of being able to golf would come back to me, and that's actually what happened. So the front nine I shot a 47, the back nine I shot a 1/37. I was on fire. I think I started off the back nine with 3 bogeys, so I was like bogey, bogey, bogey. And then from that point on, I just went absolute beast on the course. I went like 3 pars in a row, and then I finished with 2 birdies and another par. Well, no, a birdie, par, and then a birdie. And what it came down to, it was the last hole. It was a par 3 hole, and it was one of those island greens. So it was 180 yards over a water into an island green, and I stuck the thing like 30 feet from the pin. And at this point, I'm only 2 shots up on the guy that talks shit all the time. And I'm like, man, if I par this and he birdies it, it's going to be close. If I bogey it, I stepped up and I was like, if I hit it in the water, I'm fucked, and this game's over, and he got me. Well, it turns out I stuck the green. He stuck like right on the edge of the green, and it came down to the putt. And my wife and all of her friends and stuff, the friends of the couples that we were going with, our hotel room. Look at this, I just launched myself into water. Dumbass. I killed myself so many times in this, in Starhawk in general. I commit suicide. But my wife and all of her friends, they got back from having a manicures and stuff. They had a little girls' day while we were out golfing. And our hotel room was right next to the 18th green, so they were up in the window on the second floor on the balcony looking out while we were shooting. And I could hear them doing their classic golf clap and everything, cheering us on while we're getting ready to make our putts and everything. And I'm like 40 feet, 30 feet away, and I need this putt to like get the lead and everything and to seal the deal. And when you fucking know it, I sunk the thing like 35, 40 feet away. It broke like 6 feet to the right, and I sink the putt. And I'm like cheering. They're going crazy in the crowd. I felt like I was on the freaking tour. And sure enough, I won. So I shot an 84. What was that? Yeah, I shot a 37 and a 47. So I shot an 84 overall. Pretty beast score for not playing golf in like 2 years. I loved it. And I won. And I shut him up, which was the main key thing. So that's just day one of this trip. This day one. So the next day, we didn't actually have the bowl until Saturday night at 7 p.m. So Friday night, we get crazy, you know, typical Jaeger style. Get some alcohol in me, have a good time. We were in the hot tub till like 2 o'clock in the morning. We actually broke into the room for the hot tub because it closed at 10. And I was like, this isn't going to happen. So we climbed through the window and we got into the hot tub room. It was awesome. We stayed up all night drinking. We got trashed. And then the next day, Saturday morning, we wake up at like 11 o'clock. And, you know, it's like 11 o'clock. We're just coming off of our hangovers a little bit. And the girls just are like, oh, we're going to go out shopping since you guys are pretty much worthless right now. And we didn't have the pool till 7 p.m. that night. We were like, okay, cool. Well, the resort that we went to was Conley Resort. It has an indoor water park as well. And my buddy's room was right next to the entrance to the indoor water park. So while the girls were out having fun and doing their girly stuff, we all just hung out. You know, it was supposed to be a chill afternoon. We were going to sit, go swimming a little bit, just hang out. But what it turned into was the craziest drink fest that we've ever had in the prime. Like, it was a time where we were supposed to be sober. We were supposed to get ready for the big tournament at 7 p.m. And all we did, oh my word, we had 4 people. And the 4 people killed 2 handles of liquor. So we had Bacardi and we had Jack Daniel's bourbon or whiskey or whatever. So we killed 2 of those handles. We got drunk so much that half of us were passing out. Like, we were passing out around like 5 o'clock. We were to the point where we couldn't even function anymore. And the one buddy on my team, he has a 226 bowling average. And he was the worst out of all of them. So he was the captain of our team, and we're like hoping for him to do well and everything, so we can have a good event. And Saturday night is the team event, so we're all 4 out of the 5 people on our team are absolutely shit faced, like we're destroyed drunk. Sorry, there wasn't 4 people; it was only 3 of us that finished those handles. And we realize at like 6:15, we're like, oh shit, we gotta go bowl. So the bowling alley was like 30 minutes from our hotel or resort, and we had all of our wives. We were like, just take us, and we could barely even walk. We passed out on the way to the bowling alley, and my buddy with the 226, when we got there, we were 1 minute from being disqualified for the tournament. So we're 1 minute away. We registered just in time, but meanwhile, while we're registering, my friend is in the parking lot. It's a stone parking lot. He's laying on the ground, just puking. And this is the guy with the 226. It was the only chance of us actually doing well. He's laying on the ground puking the whole time. And his fiance was like, yo, you got to get up. You got to get up. And we went up to him and he's like, yo, you got to man up. Let's go. We have to go bowling. And sure enough, he got up. He was a trooper about it. He sat there. And that night, while we were bowling, in between every ball, he would go back and just fall asleep. I mean, like, it only was like 2 minutes in between each throw, and he would pass out and fall asleep in between each one. The crazy part about this was the third game. So he wasn't drinking while we were bowling. Obviously, he was barely struggling to even stay awake. But that third game, he starts off with the first 6 strikes in a row. So he's on his way to a perfect score. And we were like, yo, I'm just going to tell you right now, I'm not going to beat around the bush. You are on the way to perfection. And we're drunk still. And I was like, if you get this, this is going to be one of them stories that just goes down into history. and I'm going to tell my grandkids about it. You name it. It's going to be one of those ones that I'll just always be telling. And he's like, what am I doing? And he didn't even know. He didn't even know that he was on a perfect game at this time. Well, it turns out the very next frame, 7th frame, he threw a pocket shot. So a pocket shot's a ball that hits exactly where it's supposed to be. And he left a 9 count. Like, he got 1 pin left over. And I was like, oh, and he just sat up there. He was screaming at the pins. He's like, fuck you! Fuck you! He's like screaming at the pins in the middle. There's like 40 lanes here, and he's just yelling at these guys, the pins. And it turns out that was the only shot that he missed. So he shot a 280 or something. No, 279. And that was the only ball that he did not throw a strike. After throwing up in the parking lot, after all this stuff, he puts up and mans up and does that. And he shot a 667 series. So what's that? A 220, like a 222 average for the week, or for that day, and that wasn't too bad. I just thought it was one of the most epic things I've ever seen. Someone troop up and man up that much to go and throw as well as he did. Our team, we did fairly well. Like, I was surprised. The other guy and myself, who were drinking a lot, we both broke 600, so we got our average. I think I threw a 609, which is a 203 average. Not too bad. And my buddy, the other one that was really drunk too, his average isn't as good as ours, but he threw a 190 something average for the night. So it turned out we actually did really well. I don't know what place we pulled out, but we'll find that out later on. The tournament lasts for months and months and months. But yeah, we're absolutely obliterated drunk, and we did that well. So the next day, so that was Saturday night, we get back from the tournament. It was over at 11:30. We had the 30-minute drive, and we're still drunk. And we get back to the hotel. We didn't get to bed till like 2 o'clock in the morning because we were just drinking some more, having a good time. But the next day, Sunday morning, we needed to go. We had the singles event, which was at 8 o'clock in the morning, and then we also had the partnered event, the doubles event. And that day, we were just absolutely wrecked. Like, we're sore from top to bottom. We could barely even move. We were like, the typical classic hangover. And we go up and bowl. And in the singles event, I think I threw like a 637. So a 210, 213 average or something along those lines. I don't know what that's going to get me. Last year, I threw a 694. And then with handicap, it put me over 700, and I took like 25th place. But this year I didn't bowl as well, mainly because of all the stuff that we were drinking and everything. So it turned out that I did okay. And then when the team event, my partner was the guy that was throwing up all night the previous night. When he throws like a 700. He threw like a 233 average for the day, and he was on fire. And unfortunately, I didn't do that well with him. Like, I shot, I think like a 612 or something along those lines. But I needed to step up my game and do really well, and it just wasn't happening. I was hitting every shot that day. It just weren't falling. Like, I was nailing the pocket every time, and it just wasn't working for me. But overall, a great weekend, an awesome time that we were having. Overall, I think I averaged like a 206 for the week, so that's better than my personal bowling average is a 200. So the 206, not too bad. I was hoping to go beast mode, get a whole bunch of money, win the dough, but it didn't really happen. I had so much more fun just drinking, hanging out, just being goofy and everything. Yeah. So that was my weekend. That was the craziness that Jaeger goes through on the weekends. We had a blast. I can't wait till the next one. The next tournament that we have is coming up in June. It's a Scotch doubles tournament where actually Miss Malibu is going to be my bowling partner. So Scotch double is a husband and wife tournament where the wife, bowls first, and then the guy finishes off whatever she leaves. So if she doesn't get a strike, then you have to go and you have to try picking up the spare for her. And it's a lot of fun. Last year, Miss Malibu and I took 10th place, and she's actually a really good bowler. And yeah, we took 10th place, and we won like $150 or something like that. So I'm looking forward to it this year. But yeah, that's us bowling. That's craziness. And I don't really know if there's any more stories. I could probably come up with some stories, you know. But right now, we're going to talk about a little bit about this game. So in this one, you've been watching. I fast forwarded a few sections of this because it was like 20 minutes long, and no one ever wants to watch a 20-minute long video. But I think I went like 18 and 4. I was just running around with my shotgun. So in this one, there's a skill that you can get if you get 10 kills in one game, that you can get the shotgun, and that's what I was going for. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, please drop me a like. In the middle of the screen, you should see the last video I put up, which was, I believe, I don't even remember. It was me doing a Let's Play of The Walking Dead. And if you like my commentaries, if you enjoy me in general, hit the subscribe button. This has been Jaegerbomb. I'm out. Peace!